While you are taking a look at the pizza, James declared was the best homemade pizza I had ever made. So I was happy to hear that, and I'm going to show you guys how I made it. Into my skillet, I am putting 1 boneless skinless chicken breast that I have diced pretty small, and I'm going to add in about half an onion or so, also diced pretty small. I'm going to let these things fry up together. I am going to season it up with some jalapeno salt and let it cook until it's completely cooked through. I, for some reason, had just really been wanting a barbecue chicken pizza. That's not something we have real often, but for some reason I thought of that a couple of weeks ago, and I just knew that I would be making that coming up soon. So that is what we are making today, and I am telling you, it did not disappoint. What I love about pizzas, you can do really what you want with them. You can customize them to your taste and to your preference, and when you do that, they're going to come out just like you wanted. This followed that to a T. I loved everything about it. So as I am getting this cooked up here, I am going to start working on the pizza dough portion. Look at this. I have used these on my channel before. This is a Kroger brand frozen bread dough. You pay about $5, I think it is, for about 5 frozen loaves, and you can do all kinds of things with it. So I had just let this rise and actually put it in my refrigerator because I wasn't able to use it the day that I thought I was, and I ended up making this the second day, and it turned out just fine. So on my sail pad there, I've just sprinkled a little bit of cornmeal so I can start working this dough, and I'm just going to keep on working it until I get it about the full length of the pan. Next, I'm going to go in with my barbecue sauce. Now, before I did this, I will say I did stick this in the oven at like 425 for about 3 minutes. I wanted just a little bit of a bake on this crust before I started working with it. So Sweet Baby Ray's is what I had in the refrigerator, so that's what I used. I'm just putting, I'd say a medium-ish coat on the bottom. Again, make this however you want to make it. If you choose to, just put a heavy amount if you like it real saucy, or for me and for what we like, I knew probably just a medium coat there would be great. I did put quite a bit of chicken because that's kind of the main component on this pizza, and so I thought I'm just really going to load this down with chicken, and it was just about right, if I say so myself. So I'm going to get the chicken loaded on and keep working on this pizza. I have been showing a lot using my cheese grater, and that's exactly what I did to get this delicious mozzarella cheese. And I actually had just a little bit of a Colby Jack cheese that I had also shredded up. We had a little bit of that left, and I think that looks pretty on a pizza, having a little bit of a yellow cheese in with the white mozzarella. So I put a heavy amount of cheese on here. It's a little over 8 ounces because the mozzarella was an 8-ounce block, and then we have a little bit of that Colby Jack on there. So I got the cheese all on the top, and then I just had a smidge of this Sweet Baby Ray's in the bottom. I let that sit upside down and put the rest of that on there. And then from my freezer, I pulled out these jalapeno slices. Apparently I had those left over from something not long ago. I can't remember what, but I knew those would make a super great addition to this pizza, and they really, really were. So if you like a little bit of spice, don't leave these off. They were so good. And then the last thing here, I'm going in with some green onions. I had some that needed to be used up, so I just chopped those up and put on the top as well. And I'm going to get this thing in the oven to bake. I baked it on 425 for, I'd say, maybe about 15 or so minutes. Everyone's oven's different. You just kind of want to keep an eye on it. You want your crust to be done, and we like ours to be a good golden brown on the top, a little bit darker as opposed to lighter. Look at this. I'm not kidding. It was so good. We enjoyed this thoroughly. James said, like I already told you, this was one of the best, if not the best, homemade pizza I had ever made. And I make homemade pizza pretty often. It's one of our favorites. So this hit the spot, and we just had a Caesar salad on the side, and that was such a delicious dinner. All right, we are back in the kitchen for another dinner, and we are making zucchini fries tonight. I have taken one zucchini and just cut it up into these spears, quote unquote fries, and I'm gonna season those up with some Lawry's seasoning salt, some garlic powder, and some black pepper. And I'm gonna make zucchini fries like I have seen Jessica O'Donoghue make on her channel several times. And we're going to give those a shot tonight. So after I get these all seasoned up, I'm just going to let them sit here for just a second before I start the coating that's going to go on these, and I'm going to get my pork chops frying up in the pan. I found these two pork chops that were individually packaged. Look here, $1.39 is what this one was. These are the Duroc, and I think that's the particular type of pork that it is. Look how thick and nice these are. James said these were probably the most tender pork chops he had ever had, and I agree. They were so, so good. I have those 3 seasonings out from the zucchini fries, and those are just going to be perfect to go on these pork chops. Taking a shortcut here just by seasoning them up right in these little containers that they came in. They work just fine for that. I'm going to put a little bit of flour and a little bit of panko breadcrumbs on both of these. I'm going to kind of use my fork to push it in, make sure that it adheres really well to the pork chops before I fry these up in the pan. To the zucchini fries, I am going to use this Ziploc bag here and put in some panko breadcrumbs and some flour into this bag, and that's what I'm going to season these in and get this coating on there. Now, Jessica does do an egg wash, like she puts the egg in a bowl, kind of scrambles it up, dips in those pieces of zucchini before she puts this coating on there. I completely forgot to do that, and they actually worked out just fine without it, although I think that would be great to do as well. It does work if you don't. So I'm going to throw these in here, toss them all around, and kind of press them in, make sure everything gets a good coating on it. I am frying these up in some bacon grease. I always keep any bacon grease that I have left for reasons just like this. It's perfect for this. Look at that crispy coating we got going on the outside. I'm doing these pretty low and slow. I wanted to get a good crisp on the outside, and as I usually do, I'll put a little bit of water kind of to steam them up here in just a little bit. All right, here are those zucchini fries in the air fryer. I put a little bit of cooking spray both on the bottom and on top of those zucchini fries, and they turned out absolutely perfect. I can't tell you exactly how long these were in there. I fry everything in my air fryer at about 400. I would say 10 to 12 minutes would be my guess, but you just want them to be golden brown. Look at these pork chops. Now they are all done. Like I said, they were so, so tender, and we love the zucchini fries. I sprinkled just a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top after they came out of the air fryer. And James and I said we could make a whole meal out of just the zucchini fries. I didn't serve them with any dipping sauce or anything, although I know that would be wonderful as well. But this whole meal was delicious. I have showed these on my channel several times. I grew up with smoked sausage as a very common dinner that we would have. My parents really liked it, my dad especially. And it was usually just the Eckrich beef smoked sausage. It is so quick and easy to get on the table. It's relatively inexpensive, and now you can get so many different flavors and varieties. So I really like this cheddar. I also like the one from Aldi, their turkey smoked sausage is really, really good. Their regular one is too, but the turkey one from there I really like. So this is something, if you are finding yourself sometimes in a pinch and need something real quick, this is something you always ought to leave in your refrigerator. Also,
You could slice this up, fry it up for breakfast. It just has a lot of versatile uses. So I'm using this tonight for, actually it's lunchtime on a Saturday I'm making this. And I'm just gonna fry this up in the pan. This is also something very quick that you can cook up and very inexpensive. So this is just 1 can of green beans. I got it seasoned with garlic powder and onion salt, and I put a little bit of bacon grease in there. And I'm also making a box of just good old Kraft macaroni and cheese. And these exact 3 things, we would have it this way very often growing up.
So here is a look at James's plate. This is exactly what he wanted, and that's what he got, and I'm having what I want. So what I'm doing is having a piece of really soft bread. This was fresh bread, and I can't resist fresh bread. It's hard to anyway. I wanted to make a little sandwich out of mine. And as a kid, when we had smoked sausage, I would always dip mine in mustard. So here I have a piece of soft bread, a piece of that sausage there with some mustard, and I just put my macaroni and cheese in a bowl, put some black pepper on there, and this is like a flashback to my childhood. It was a perfect Saturday lunch for a busy day. Welcome to my first ever making of a viral TikTok recipe. Into my skillet there, I have fried up a pound of ground beef with 1 fresh tomato that I had that needed to be used. After I fried that until it was done and drained it, I'm adding in 1 whole jar of the Prego tomato basil garlic sauce. I'm going to let that simmer together low and slow. That helps to really bring out the flavors of a jarred pasta sauce as it cooks. They just get better and intensifies. So if you can let your red sauce cook real low and slow, if you have time, it does deepen the flavors. If you don't, cook it up fast and it tastes delicious that way too. But that's what I'm doing here. So yes, this is, I'm not on TikTok. I don't have plans of being on TikTok, but this one has been shared a lot of times on Facebook and on YouTube. It is the Alfredo spaghetti. I think it's what it's called, Alfredo spaghetti pasta, something like that. I don't know. Anyhow, I know that it's been shared a lot. It's a viral TikTok recipe and it sounded really good. Now, look at this ginormous pot of angel hair pasta that I have. You have probably guessed that it's family night. And this is my Dutch oven, and it's heavy by itself, but full of this pasta. I had to dip some of this out before I could even drain it because it was so heavy. So what you do for this recipe, I've seen several people make it, and everybody does it a little bit different, but this is how I'm doing it. You put a layer of pasta and a jar of Alfredo sauce. You kind of mix those in together a little bit, and then on top of that comes the red sauce. Now, I am cooking for family night, so I am making extra, and as I often do, my pans, pots, whatever I'm using gets filled to the brim. This was no exception, so I went in with more pasta and more sauce. So this is another whole jar. Now, I will tell you my thoughts here in just a minute. And look at this yummy sauce. This has been simmering away. So good. And then on top, you put your meat sauce. So the meat and the red sauce goes on top, and you don't mix that in. So it kind of sits on the top, and then you top it with cheese. What I will say is that I feel like if I were to make it again, even if I made the original recipe, which is 1 pound of pasta, 1 jar or recipe of Alfredo sauce, and then you top it with the red sauce, I still feel like it needed more Alfredo sauce. You just don't want that pasta to be dry. And it wasn't dry, but I would have liked it a little more saucy. So in the future, I will probably make sure I have plenty of Alfredo before I put on the red sauce. Here comes the mozzarella cheese. You saw me just shred that up again. Putting my little cheese grater to work all the time here in the kitchen, putting on this cheese, and then it just bakes in the oven. My family loved it. I loved it. We had some left over. I sent some home with the kids. And we had leftovers the next day, which were absolutely delicious the second time around. I just topped it with a little bit of the Italian seasoning there. Also, I served alongside these Italian sausages. So in my skillet here, I cooked these up, and once they were pretty much cooked through, I added in some chopped peppers and onions, And I just thought this would be a good addition to serve along with that pasta, and it was. These were all gone quickly. And then I just served a really nice, beautiful salad, and I made some homemade ranch. I tried a new recipe for, it's basically a semi-homemade ranch, but it was so good. It was the Hidden Valley Ranch restaurant style packet made with buttermilk and mayonnaise. I used Duke's and half of a lime squeezed in. And I have to say, it was pretty delicious. So we served that on top of the salad, and a good time was had by all. I mean, who doesn't love some pasta? So that's what we had on this family night. If you haven't tried this recipe, look it up, look at a few recipes, see what, which one sticks out to you. As with pasta, you just don't want it to be dry. We loved this one. I'll definitely make it again. I might tinker with it a little bit the next time, but we loved it even as it was. Well, I hope you guys got some good ideas, some inspiration from this What's for Dinner video. Thank you always for coming back. If you enjoyed this, give it a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Tell me something down there. Talk to me a little bit. Subscribe if you've not, and I'll see you the next time. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
All I want in this whole life, a little red house in a country wife, a picnic table out on the lawn.